Hello folks, welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to talk about how can we fork a repository. Before that one, let's understand what is fork. If we see this diagram, hopefully we are already doing this one. So we have a Git repository and I would like to take this repository on my local system. Then we are going to do the Git clone. Whenever we do Git clone, we will get a repository as a copy of our remote repository. Similar way, we can fork a repository, but forking will happen between two different accounts. Let's take that I have a GitHub account. Similar way, others also can create their own GitHub accounts, right? Similar way, other persons also can create their own GitHub accounts, right? Let's take an example that I want to develop one application which is related to the traveling. I can start developing my code from the scratch, or else I can go and check if a similar kind of project is available in the GitHub or not. Why? Because other peoples also might have similar kind of requirement. They have developed this application and they are fine to share with others. So they might have pushed into the public repository in the GitHub itself. Now I would like to take that code onto my repository. In that case, I can use the fork option. Whenever I do fork option, whatever data he is having on his account, that data is going to come and sit on my account as a new repository. Once it is cloned, now these two repositories are independent repositories, and if I do any changes on this repository, it won't get affected over here. So I can proceed with my own development activity. So fork is helps us to take a repository from other account to your account. You can start doing your activity. Now you may ask that can I do the clone on this repository? Yes, you can do. If you do the clone, same thing will happen. Let's assume that this is the others account and they have created repository. Now you would like to clone onto your local system, then you can use the git clone and repository URL. Okay, but if you want to get it onto your GitHub account directly rather than your local system, then we can use the git fork command. Now let's go and see how does it work. Okay, so this is my GitHub repository and you can see I have lot of repositories. And if you observe, few people are already forking my repositories onto their account. Why? Because they might think that these are useful for them and they want to do some activity with these repositories. If that is the case, they can fork these repositories onto their account. Similar way, even I need some code from others account, then I can fork it. Let's search for one of the repository. Assume that as I said, we are going to develop travel related application. So I'm going to search for cab booking. Okay, just I'm searching for cab booking application and you can see here there are 865 repositories are matching to my search. And if I see here some of the names, cab online tax booking system, assume that I need same kind of application. So I can open this one. If I open this one, this is the code and you can see 12 commits were done and 4 years before, and this is the guy who has updated. So this is the code, and if you see, this is developed in the PHP. All right, and this is readme file, and usually readme file helps us to understand how we can use this particular application. Okay, that is the intention. So he has given enough information, and if you see here, fork. So for 17 persons forked this repository and stars 10 stars they have given, and 3 people are monitoring this repository. Nothing but whenever they are doing some changes on this repository, they will get notification. And also we have only one branch, that is master branch on his account, and master branch, and he hasn't done any tags. Next thing is pull request. We are going to talk about pull request later point of time more detailed. Assume that I have found some bug in this code. Why? Because it is updated 4 years before. Now I'm trying to use this application. Whenever I'm using this application, it is not working as expected. So what do? I will update this code. Once I have updated this code, I would like to merge that code with this code, nothing but this guy code. If that is the case, I can raise a pull request. But pull request we are going to discuss about later point of time. For now, I'm forking this repository. Let me click on the fork. And you can see here, forking so and so onto my repository. And this is the code. And I got all the commits which was done and who has updated and when was updated. All this information has been copied into my system. Why? Because it's just like a snapshot onto my account. Now I can update this code on my repository, not on his repository. Okay, so this is how we can fork the repository. For better understanding, instead of going to the others repository, I'm going to use my other GitHub account and will start forking the repositories or updating the repositories. For that, I'm opening my private browser. Here we are going to open github.com. Okay, so there we have logged in as a Ravdi. Here I'm going to log in as a Vayankil. It is asking for code. Let me give this code. Okay, I have provided my code and I have logged in. And this is my other account. The account name is Vayankil. Here also we have few repositories. Now what I will do, I'm going to fork a repository from my Ravdi account. So in Ravdi we have a Docker repository. So Ravdi/Docker, if I search, okay, you can see here I got a Ravdi account, and if I open this one, and I can see the fork option. Why? Because this is others account. From others account, I'm cloning this repository onto my account. Okay, so fork this repository. So to fork this repository, I just need to click over here so that this repository coming onto Vayankil's, and repository name is same like a Docker, and it is forking from the Ravdi. And you can clearly see this one, Ravdi/Docker. So this repository created from this source repository, right? Now I'm going to do few modifications to this one and will update those into my local repository. Then I'm going to push those changes onto Ravdi account as well. Why? Because I have found some mistakes or updates to these documents. Same thing I would like to share with the guy who has created this one. Then Ravdi is going to get a pull request. Then we need to accept it. Okay, that is what we are going to see in the next lecture. Thanks for watching and see you there.